All right. Can I request everyone to say sadhu 3 times, please? Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Yatanako bhante na jayati na jiyati na miyati na chavati na uppajjati sakkanuko so bhante gamanena lokassa anto jnatum va dattum va papanitim vati. Yatako also no jayati na jiyati na miyati na chavati na uppajjati nahang tang gamanena lokassa antang jnateya datteya Patteyanti vadami ti. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dear friends in the Dhamma, from morning we have tried our level best to practice mindfulness. And the first thing we did was we tried to understand what exactly mindfulness is. And then after understanding mindfulness, we tried to train it. We tried to practice it. So when we do that, it is the recommendation of the Buddha that you have to support this. And this path is called, I'll change my posture so that I can see somebody. Otherwise, I'll be just talking to a wall. This path is called the path to Eight Noble Path. So when you go to Eight Noble Path, what is important is to support that. So Buddha has given 5 supportive factors like that. He says that we have got to support the path with morality, support the path with listening, support the path with discussion, support the path with concentration, and support the path with insight. So when we started this program, we recollected, we observed precepts. That is just to remind ourselves that we are not having a normal day. We are having a day where we will be refraining our physical activities and the verbal activities. So we observed the 8 precepts for lay people, where you have 4 physical activities which you are trying to refrain from, and then 4 verbal activities which you are trying to refrain from. So this is why I wanted everyone to maintain the noble silence. Sometimes the noble silence is a bit too loud. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It happens. It happens, but we will have to get used to maintaining the noble silence no matter what we do. It is not necessary for us to talk while working, right? So since you are not used to it, that happens. So over time, if I come here, I will be able to definitely make it. I have done that in the past with other groups. So therefore, we will be able to come to noble silence. But anyway, so that is a supportive factor. We don't just do it as a ritual, as a habit. That's a requirement of the Buddha to support with the morality. And the other supportive factor is listening supportive factor, which we are doing now. I'm giving a talk and the audience is listening to it. And the next one, after the listening supportive factor, we will be going on to the discussion supportive factor, where not only one-way communication, it's a two-way communication. There will have questions from the audience and I will be answering, and there will have counter questions from that. So that way, there will have a two-way communication, and that is much more effective. And we had that in the morning as well. That's much more effective than this one-way communication. In one-way communication, sometimes what happens is the only person who is awake is the person talking. Sometimes even that person will be falling asleep. Doesn't matter, because in a talk, what we usually say is, don't do anything. Get rid of your craving, get rid of your hatred. So when those things are not there, people usually fall asleep. So if you are sleeping, so it shows the effectiveness of the talk. So it's my effectiveness when you fall asleep. So please do that so that I can be happy. Right. These are the second and the third supportive factors. In these two supportive factors, what happens is we will be able to know new things. You are doing a practice, mindfulness, and I explain the mindfulness in a possibly a different way, possibly a way that you have heard it for the first time, and you are learning a new thing as per the discourses in the canon. And then you will be able to connect these things with your practice. So what you are doing will be supported by these talks, and also you will be able to clear your doubts, and you will be able to straighten your view, because we have certain viewpoints. When you practice mindfulness, this has to be done, that has to be done. So many jargons and so many requirements and so many prerequisites are there in our mind, right? So all those viewpoints can be straightened when you have either listening or supportive discussion, listening and discussion supportive factor. And the last one is when you listen to a talk, there will have some entertainment, some intellectual entertainment. So the entire Buddhist world today is listening to so much of talks, and there are so much of talks, and people keep listening. There is no end. And the media is also supporting it. There is nothing wrong. It's better to listen to a Dhamma talk rather than listening to a music or doing something else. But that is not just for entertainment. So today, people are doing it not as a supportive factor, but as an intellectual entertainment. As a result, all of you know Edward Jacody's song. The Sinhala song is Buddhubana Suwa Nirantare, Buddhubana Desuwa Nirantare, Gatiguna Ating Apitamat Wanantare. That is because we don't know that these talks are to support for something. And since it is not used to support something, and by the time the talk is over, when you go home, you take a better pair of shoes than what you wore when you came to the temple, because you don't know why we listen to these talks and where to support it. So therefore, talks are there to support what you are doing, the practice. So therefore, you will have to use these things not as an intellectual entertainment. It should be supporting something that you do. So that is what we try to understand in the morning. And the Buddha says these supportive factors are so important that you will have to give priority to these supportive factors in a way that a very clever farmer looking after his crop. A clever farmer, when they plant something, they will not just plant and go home and after 6 months come and try to take the harvest. They will look after it. They know when to weed, when to water, when to provide light, when to fertilize, and how to do it. And all these things will be done by a clever farmer. And Buddha says the person practicing will have to look after his practice with much more enthusiasm, with much more commitment. Practice has to be looked after with these 5 factors. So therefore, there is another simile that Buddha says, you will have to look after the practice much better than the wheel-turning monarch's wife conceiving a boy for the first time. You know the wheel-turning monarch, Sakyati, King Sakyati, when his wife, not just the wife, the main queen, is conceived with a baby boy, and that woman is looked after by the entire system in the kingdom, because he's the next wheel-turning monarch. So entire system will be focused to look after this queen, right? So Buddha says, when you are conceived with Dhamma, you will have to support your practice much more than that, right? So therefore, that much significance has been given. And that is why even in this short time, we are taking time for a talk and a discussion. That is so significant, because when you practice, you will be just walking up and down and you will be sitting, and in your head, what the heck is what is going on? Now, will this give any result? So this combination, compilation, amalgamation of the experiences of the practice will happen through the talk and through the discussion. So this is why I'm taking time for it, and it is something that is happening in all the retreats that we do in Nisaranavanaya and that I'm doing anywhere else. So coming to the topic, the particular stanza that I took as the topic here is, it says, is it possible? This is someone is asking the Blessed One, is it possible, Lord, by traveling to know, see, reach a far end of the cosmos where one does not take birth, age, die, pass away, or reappear? It's a question asked by somebody. And then Buddha says, I'll tell you, my friend, that there is no such place possible by traveling to know, see, reach far end of the cosmos where one does not take birth, age, die, pass away, or reappear. So why I took this particular verse is because before that, let me tell you the background of it. And this is in the Rohitassa Sutta. Most of you may have heard it. In Rohitassa Sutta discourse, discourse, the Rohitassa is a divine being who comes to the Blessed One, asks this question, whether there is a place where there is no birth, basically not dying. If we take the bottom line, whether there is a place anywhere in the cosmos where there is no death is happening. The Blessed One says, no, there is no such place. And this particular person, Rohitasa, when he heard this, he says, sadhu, 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 Bhante, I have been a skywalker in so and so time, and I was having such a power that I will be able to walk from the east coast to the west coast within the time a person takes to stretch hand, to stretch the folded hand. So it's in other words, within a blink, he will be able to go from east coast to west coast. Just imagine the speed. How many medals would have been given to him if he had been here doing Olympics? Olympics field will not be enough for him to run. So his speed has been such that, and he says, I was walking in the cosmos and I took some time to feed myself, to take a rest, and to urinate and defecate, and I kept walking. I never found a place, and I died while walking after 100 years. So therefore, what you are saying is exactly right. There is no place in the cosmos where we will not die. It's a question, it's a perennial question that has been existed in the past. It is the same question that we have today. If you take the research expenses that we have in the world, most of the research expenses are on health. What do? They are trying to see whether they will be able to increase the lifespan by one more breath. No, not much. By one more breath. We are trying, everyone in the world, in the universe, is trying to live without dying. It is the very same thing that even Buddha researched. And this particular person, he has not done a research in the lab. He has not done a research in a tube. He has done a research himself. He has walked the cosmos. So this is the best research ever recorded. I'm very sorry if there are any researchers in the audience. they cannot be at least compared with this person. Because all our research are based on, we don't do it, we don't try it ourselves. We try to see it in somewhere else and outside. Right? So Buddha also tried the same thing, and he says, no, I'm sorry, you will not be able to do that. And then he was very elated by hearing that, because it is something he knew. Then Buddha says something else. Then Buddha says, now I am also telling you that you will not be able to reach such a place where there is no aging, where there is no decay, where there is no death. You will not be able to reach that place also without traveling through the cosmos. First he said, no, you can't travel and find a place. And then Buddha says, you will also travel in the cosmos. Without traveling in the cosmos, we will not be able to find. Then Rohitasa may have thought, what the heck is he talking about? And just a minute ago, he said, yeah, you can't travel and find a place. And then he says, without traveling also, you can find a place. Then Buddha says, I'm telling you, the cosmos is your fathom-long body. Right? So in the morning, we took some time to understand why we focus on the body. So this is one reason. Buddha says, this body is a cosmos. There is no particle in the universe which is not available here. Especially when you bring your attention to the body, there are so many things that you will experience that you have not experienced otherwise. And therefore, Buddha says, this is the cosmos you have. You are a lab. Don't look anything outside. Don't look anything in a tube. You have the tube. You observe your tube. Then you will be able to go through and you will be able to see what is in there. And this is why to understand the universe, to go to the end of the universe, we will have to observe our physical process. And that is why the Buddha says at the very beginning of Four Foundations of Mindfulness Discourse, he says, before starting anything, he says, Ujung kayang panidaya parimukang sating upattapetva, which means keep your attention to the physical process. Keep your mindfulness to the fore, having the physical process as the focal point. Right? So therefore, you will always have a communication, no matter what your mindfulness is, where your mindfulness is, how your mindfulness works. You always see what sort of a relationship that you have that to the body. So through that, you will be able to observe your own universe, and which is a representation of the universe in outside. Right? So to do that, what we did was, we, in the morning, understood what exactly mindfulness is. So if I remind you again, and this is how you observe it, this is how you go through your universe, you will have to let things happen and learn the art of not doing anything. So you, with very basic things, we started observing our walking, we started observing our sitting. Through that, what happens is the mind that is running about the universe or running outside will gradually come inside. So when it comes inside, you will be able to see what is happening within. So for that, we the main thing what we decided was, for you to do that, you will have to be a CCTV camera, focused not outside, but directed within. So when you have the CCTV camera directed within, so you let things happen in the natural, normal manner, and keep observing it. So when you therefore do mindful walking, I wanted you to walk mindfully at your normal pace. You don't walk to be mindful. You let the walking happen, the natural walking happen, and you observe it. And then there are instances where some people, when they do mindful walking, they regulate it. And one day I remember when I had given instructions for people to walk in one of the temples in Sri Lanka. And then I was doing my mindful walking at the normal pace. A boy of about 18 years old, he came and, he came and he shouted. He asked, Bante, what are you doing? I said, don't talk because you have to maintain noble silence. I asked, why do you call me? Why do you ask this? Then he said, I just want to know what you're doing. Then I called him to a side and asked, what's your problem? He said, I have done mindful walking somewhere else. And they said, when you do mindful walking, you will have to very slowly lift the leg and very slowly move it, very slowly keep it. And that's how you do mindful walking. And then he has been practicing that at home. And his father has said, you will never be able to live in this world. I said, Father is 100% right. Because what Buddha says is, it's a way of living. You don't regulate things. You don't make things artificial. You let the nature course its place, and then you simply observe it. And therefore, if you are walking usually at a particular given pace, you walk in that pace and observe that. Right? So then, therefore, it doesn't become a headache to you. It doesn't become a trouble to you. Buddha is not putting us in suffering. Buddha is not putting us problems. Buddha is giving us solutions. So when you can't understand the solutions, you make the solution a problem. So this is what happened. And this is why at the very beginning said, forget about concentration. All this happens because you want to somehow or other, now you have given up everything. You have given up whatever that you can do at home, whatever you have at home, and you have, for these few hours you have come here. And when you come here, although you have given up the other things, you want to hold very tightly what you are doing. So the mind is trying to generate craving through what you are doing. So therefore, somehow or other you want to have the entire time that you are practicing, you want to have your attention to the walking. So that's a problem. So therefore, Buddha says, go at the normal pace, just observe. Just observe. When you observe, it becomes usual thing. It becomes a normal thing. And observation also becomes normal. And there is no need for you to regiment. Right? So that is what we learned in the morning. And when you do that, the most important thing is you will have to learn the art of not doing. So when we keep on observing, mind is losing its basic energies that is necessary to continue, perpetuate the mental process. The basic energy that is necessary to perpetuate the mental process is this craving and hatred, liking and disliking, preference and prejudice. So therefore, mind is saying, okay, this is there, and why don't I do this? And why not this one? And in the morning, there were questions. When we hear a sound, why don't we take the attention back to the walking? Because what we are doing is walking. And therefore, attention should be with walking. Otherwise, it is not mindfulness. So what mind is trying to do is, mind is trying to create a conflict between what you are observing. You are observing that attention is not there in the walking. And you are observing that the attention is there in the sound. Using that, mind is trying to create a preference to one and prejudice to the other, liking towards one and disliking towards the other. Buddha is so crafty. I mean, not crafty, he is so intelligent. And he is the omnipotent, omnipresent person. And he himself says, I am the supreme being in the universe. For such a person, he knows how exactly things to be done. So therefore he says, okay, this will happen. Can you stay without choosing either of the two? You let things happen, and then you will be observing, and you will be able to see the process that is going on. And then she was saying in the morning, Bhante, you are saying, okay, keep the attention to the body. But when I keep the attention to the body, and I can see mind is giving instruction, mind is giving a command, you now walk, you now lift the leg, you now move the leg, you now lower the leg, you place the leg, and all these things are guided by the mind. So you can see those things as well. So when you see those things, and within you, you see your mental process and physical process, again our mind is trying to create a conflict between those two. Bhante is saying to have the attention to the physical process, but I am seeing this as mental process as well. Now what should I do? So this is where we will have to have the definition so clearly in our mind. What I am doing is choicelessly observing. No matter what I see, this is a data, this is a result of my observation. So I see the mental process in this manner, physical process in this manner, and if you simply report it without asking why, without asking what to choose, without asking, should I bring my attention back to the walking, without asking anything, if you simply report, I was observing and this is what happened, then you are mindful. If you are asking a question and if there is some conflict arising from that, and that is also not wrong, that is also natural, because we are living with defilements, and that if you say, ask a question, what it tells is the defilements is coming out now. So when the defilement is coming, the teacher will be able to say, this is what is going through you. Then you will be able to exactly understand, see how our systems work. And that is understanding. So therefore, if you have these type of questions, and don't think that it is that the practice is going bad. No, that's also part of the process, and that is also a normal thing. So what I want to say here is, you will learn the art of not doing anything. So when you don't do anything, and naturally what happens is the mind is trying to maintain its perpetuation through reactions. Those reactions will be eliminated. When the reactions are eliminated, there is no cause and effect taking place. We know our existence is based on this conditioning process. And that conditioning process is fueled by the reactions, by this liking and disliking. So therefore, when you don't do anything, when you maintain choiceless awareness, that fuel is gradually depreciating, and you will be simply a CCTV camera, and then simply keep observing things, and you will have a record of what happened. That's all. These things happen, and you will be presenting that as a report, and that teacher will understand, yes, this person is having the hang of what mindfulness is not asking questions, is simply recording things and presenting it as well. Just recording won't do. If you have really recorded, you should be able to tell somebody else as well. So the Buddha says, if you are really mindful, if your mindful faculty is developing, you will be able to, it says, chira katampi, chira basitampi, sarita anusarita, which means things that have happened in the past, things that you have said in the past, you will be able to remember, you will be able to remember over and over again. Not that you do it purposely, simply because you let it get recorded, whenever you want, it comes out. So therefore, the problem in the Western world now is they are using mindfulness to achieve these things. They are trying to teach mindfulness to the kids to improve the memory capacity. They are trying to teach mindfulness to the workforce because they will be less reactive. As a result, they conserve energy. Conservation of energy will produce better results. The bottom line will be thick. So therefore, they are teaching mindfulness. There are a lot of other reasons why they do mindfulness, to get rid of mental disorders and things like that, and to develop leadership qualities and so on and so forth. And if you do mindfulness for that, then again what happens is you will be defeating the very meaning of mindfulness. Mindfulness means choiceless awareness, but you choose an objective to be choicelessly aware. So then there will have heterogenic effect. You will not have medication for it. And that is very serious. If you have a disease from medication, then it is very serious. So therefore, when you practice mindfulness, this is why I said in the morning, this is a way of living. Don't expect anything out of it. Just keep the mindfulness to the fore. Have the body as the stage that performs your mindfulness. Then things that has to happen will happen. That is how Buddha has arranged this. Buddha asked us to keep the mindfulness to the fore and have the body as your focal point. And if you do that, at the end of the 4 foundations of mindfulness, Buddha says, you will be definitely become an enlightened being in the worst case scenario in 7 years. In the worst case scenario in 7 years, you will become an enlightened being. If you have some defilement left, and you will end up being a non-returner. Non-returner means the 3rd stage of enlightenment. In 4 foundations of mindfulness, Buddha is not talking about the 1st and 2nd stage. So keeping the mindfulness is that powerful. That powerful, it is true even today. If you keep the mindfulness to the fore, which is the contribution of the Buddha to the universe, it is not the concentration that the Buddha taught us. What Buddha taught was to keep the mindfulness to the fore. When you keep the mindfulness to the fore, the concentration that is necessary will be naturally developed. As a result, you will be able to, in the worst case scenario, in 7 years, achieve the 3rd stage of enlightenment. So we have such a powerful tool still at work. And we can do it, not necessary to shave your head, not necessary to wear a robe. You will be able to do it as a layperson. I'm saying this because I have done that for over 25 years as a layperson. Not over 25 years, close to 25 years as a layperson. While having a professional job, while moving to 2 countries, while raising 2 kids, while having positions in the community organizations, I practice 2 hours on a daily basis. And we should have that dedication. We should have that faith toward the Blessed One. So if you have that faith, and if you have faith in yourself, then practice of mindfulness will be so smooth because, as I said, it becomes a way of life. Once it becomes a way of life, your working life becomes so smooth. Your family life becomes so smooth. The relationships that you have with the community will become very selected, very positively energized people only you will receive. I remember when I moved to Australia, some of my friends were there. And those days even I was not, that saintly person. I was doing all nasty things that was under the sun. So they thought I'm also still in the same category. And they called me for parties and this and that. And initially I don't know anybody. So I went for the parties and I told my then wife, go for parties, don't invite anybody home. So that, I'm not suggesting that for you, but this is what I did. If you do that, you also will have better results. And then it went for about 4 months and gradually invitations dropped. And we were having our own time for us to have our practice. And with that, there was another group of people, more people than the partying people, joining the practice. And we gather somewhere on a weekly basis and then do 2, 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours practice. And in addition to that, on a daily basis, we were doing our practice at home. So therefore, although I'm talking that in the worst case scenario, in 7 years, you will be able to do this and do that, it is not necessary that you completely move away from the lay life and do it. You can do that as a layperson. When Buddha was preaching the 4 foundations of mindfulness discourse, he preached in a village where everybody was practicing. They were practicing so much whenever they meet somewhere, they don't ask the exchange rate. They don't ask whether interest is raised or not. They don't ask whether the petrol price is up or not. They don't ask what is happening to the war. They are asking, what sort of practice are you doing? How is it going? That's all. So that place, they have been practicing. To that place only Buddha went and said, keep the mindfulness to the fore. Because they have been practicing. And they were practicing these concentrated techniques. Nothing wrong. But Buddha did not come to the world to teach concentration. Concentration was something that had been there even before Buddha. Buddha wanted to take us over that. He said, keep the mindfulness to the fore, no matter what sort of absorption you go, but don't get hooked onto it. Buddha is saying in the first discourse in the canon, what is that? Brahmajala discourse, the divine net. In that, Buddha says, the people who are so committed, people who have really sacrificed their life to the practice, given up everything and practicing so well, they don't achieve enlightenment because they get hooked into the abilities, the serenity that they generate through the practice. And he is giving 62 such instances. He's giving 62 such instances. People who really practice so well get hooked up. So this is why at the very beginning said, forget about concentration. Don't try to achieve concentration. Concentration will come the way that it should come if you keep the mindfulness to the fore. Then it becomes right concentration, not the wrong concentration that we will try to achieve by being concentrated. So therefore, this keeping the mindfulness to the fore, just observation is taking you far, far away in the practice. And for that reason, I'm repeating, the most important thing is parimukang sating, which is keeping the mindfulness to the fore. Not just mindfulness. Not just mindfulness. Mindfulness was there before Buddha. And when you keep the mindfulness to the fore, the very same mindfulness matures, very same mindfulness evolves. You know, mindfulness has to evolve into many stages. So when it evolves into many stages only, you will be able to have the enlightenment factors. Hope you have heard of enlightenment factors. What are the enlightenment factors we have? What is the first one? First enlightenment factor? Enlightenment factor of mindfulness. Sati Sambojjhanga. Right? That is the first one. So when you have the first enlightenment factor, Sati Sambojjhanga, then the other 6 will develop from that. Because of Sati Sambojjhanga, you will have Dhamma. Because of Dhamma, you will have Virya. Right? Dhamma means investigation. Virya means energy. and then Preeti, rapture, so on and so forth. So what I want to say is, in the enlightenment factor, the head, the king, the president is mindfulness. Before Buddha, there were no enlightenment factors. If there had been enlightenment factors, people would have enlightened. So what Buddha wanted to do was to create an environment for the environment factors to develop. So he realized what has to happen for that is to keep the mindfulness to the fore. So if you keep the mindfulness to the fore, your mindfulness will develop, your mindfulness will mature. So when it is maturing, the first maturity of the mindfulness is it becomes clear comprehension or full awareness, right? Clear comprehension, full awareness means it starts perpetuating the mindfulness, right? Let me give you a few examples. Now in the morning, I ask you to walk and ask you what sort of observations you made. And you said, I was keeping the heel first and then the toes. And then I said, before the leg goes, before the sole of the feet goes to the toes, there are a few other steps. Heel, and then the edge of the arch area, and then the pillow, and then the toes. And if you observe it closer, you will be able to see heel, arch, and then when you place, you don't keep the pillow at once. The pillow will gradually coming down from the left to the right, from the left leg. And on the right leg, from the right to the left. It will not just come, pillow will not come all of a sudden to the floor. It will gradually roll onto the floor. And similarly, the toes. So when you see these things, what happens is your mindfulness is very closely, your observation is very closely happening to each and every minute things are happening. So this is perpetuation of mindfulness. And when you observe that, and at the same time, if you observe the sensation that you have, then you are receiving more than one information. And when you keep on observing that, if you feel not only you just place your toes, you press your toes. Once you press your toes, you see the other leg is getting lifted. So then you are getting more information and more data. And then when you keep on observing that, one may see, I can't observe one leg because the other leg is also at the same time doing something. To keep this leg, the other has to be lifted. And to move one leg, the other should be very firm on the floor. So you start seeing both the legs. Now earlier you saw only one. So is it better mindfulness or worse mindfulness? Now since you are with you, since you are reaching now, you are seeing a wider spectrum. More things happening. Everything is happening when? Now. Everything is happening now. So if you come, when you get close to now, you start seeing more and more things. And this is the maturity of mindfulness. So this is how you know, now you know more things that you did not know earlier. And also, one might say, Bante, I see both the legs on one hand, and at the same time, I see people walking as well. And I see the clock is also making a sound, tick sound. And I hear that as well. I observe all these and keep walking. So is it better mindfulness or worse mindfulness? Mindfulness is becoming better. You observe more things. You let your mindfulness perpetuate. And when the attention comes to the leg, and if you see, if you observe not only sole of the feet, when you, before coming onto the sole of the feet, when your attention is in the body, one may say, Bante, even before the heel is lifted, my knee bends. Then only the heel gets lifted. So you start seeing more and more things. So which means you start getting more knowledge than what you had earlier. So that continuation, that perpetuation of awareness is called sati sampajanya, or full awareness, or clear comprehension. Right? I like the word full awareness because clear comprehension, it doesn't give me a right perspective, right perception of it. Sampajanya means, the word sampajanya is divided into three by my teacher's teacher. He says, sang means yourself, swam. And sampajanya means complete, full. Jnana means knowledge, right? So when you keep the mindfulness to the fore, you start gathering knowledge yourself, which you did not have earlier. So you get more and more knowledge. Don't come into a conclusion. So there is a nice example that my teacher used to give when he is explaining clear comprehension or the full awareness. In Sri Lanka, even today, and maybe even here, I don't know, when people are being recruited for the civil administration service, they have an interview, and CS interview we call it. So when you go for that interview, sometime back, they have the interview board has asked the length of the longest river in Sri Lanka, which is Mahaveli. Don't ask me the length. Even I don't know. I'm sure even you don't know. And this person also hadn't known. So he said he has maybe given some answer. It has been wrong, and he has not been recruited. And the chairman of the committee has written a letter to the newspaper, weekend newspaper, Silumina, saying these are the types of people that are coming for the civil administration service. They don't know at least these basic things of their own country. So how can they be civil servants and all that big story, and condemned the candidates as much as possible. And in the paper after that weekend, the candidate has answered, tell me, when you say, okay, it's 231 or whatever the number of kilometers, you will have to start at some point as zero. Tell me, this river gets all its water only from that 0 point? Doesn't water come from anywhere else? And to that place, isn't water coming from somewhere else? You can't say that it is starting only from here. So if I give your rubbish that is available in the book, I would have got the job. But you will lose the independent thinking. And these are the type of people who are interviewing us. And he has blasted the interview board. Right? This is exactly what Buddha said, by asking you to keep the mindfulness to the fore. What Buddha simply says is, don't make assumptions. You have to make an assumption and say this is zero. And from there only Mahavali runs. Some words come to my mouth. I am not telling that because Buddha is there on the other side. Right? It's such a stupid society we live in. Tell me just one subject where there is no assumption. Each and every subject are based on assumptions. Because without assumptions, they can't make things permanent. They can't make things self. They can't make things pleasurable. The reality is impermanent. The reality is non-self. Reality is suffering. So they will have to make assumptions and then teach all rubbish. I mean, we learn rubbish because we will have to earn something to live. Doesn't matter. But don't think that it is the gospel truth. Gospel truth is far beyond. To reach that, the Blessed One says, keep the mindfulness to the fore. When you keep the mindfulness to the fore, then you start seeing the universe. You start going through the universe. And that maturity happens by perpetuation of mindfulness. So if you are able to perpetuate mindfulness in this manner, sooner or later, it will develop into a faculty. It will develop into a faculty means you will say, Bhante, I take my attention to the body. After some times, say for example, while sitting, my breath fades away. After breath fades away, it comes to a stage that I don't know anything. I'm just sitting even with that. But after some time, I get so much of pain in my body. I just keep observing that. And once I keep observing that, even that vanishes. And then some thoughts start popping up, and I don't know where these thoughts are coming. And this keeps getting repeated every now and then. Is this correct? That is definitely correct, because when you keep your attention to the attention in this manner to the fore, when your awareness, when your observation is kept to the fore, your attention can go either to the physical process or to the interconnection, which is the pain. Pain means, Vedana means, feeling means the interconnection between the physical process and mental process. And once you go through that, you will go to a deeper layers of the mind, which is the thoughts. So when these things are getting repeated, this is the nature. This is the four foundations of mindfulness. Either body, feelings, mind, or the phenomena. So if you let that happen, you let that happen because you develop mindfulness as a faculty. And when you develop mindfulness as a faculty, it will come to a point, to another phenomena, which is that you will not be able to be 100% mindful all the time. There will have instances where you don't know what happened. And then you start crying, Bhante, I was having such a wonderful mindfulness in the last few months, but now I don't know what I am doing. Now you are seeing that the mindfulness is also not permanent. Mindfulness is also falling into the trap of impermanence. And when that happens, if you become aware of that, then the Blessed One says it is not just a faculty, it becomes a power. You are mindful of the fact that the mindfulness is not there. So it says, pamadena na kampati satibala. You won't become mindful, but when you don't become mindful, you become aware that you are not mindful. So it becomes a power of mindfulness. So once it becomes a power of mindfulness, because every time you keep the mindfulness to the fore, then it becomes the president. It comes to the top in the factors of mindfulness, and that leads to the path. That opens up the path. So I have done about 25 talks on this in a series called Ekayana Magga, which is in my YouTube channel. Unfortunately, it is in Sinhala. So you can listen to that. I have explained them in very detail. You will be able to understand how this evolved, how this simple mindfulness, how this seed of mindfulness, how this simple awareness, when it is kept to the fore, how it evolves into the final liberation. So therefore, this is not something Buddha said, you will be able to reach a place where there is no death by observing the body. It's a fact. It's a fact. When we don't hold on to ourselves by observing the body, what we do is we learn the art of not holding on to ourselves. We neither hold on to our physical process, nor hold on to our mental process. So all these things will gradually start dissolving, and we allow that dissolution to happen. Right? So when that dissolution is happening, what first will depreciate is the self-notion. The notion that there is a person. That will dissolve, and once that dissolves, there is no turning back. So therefore, Buddha says, this is Ekayana Magga. Ekayana Magga means one and only way. You can do any meditation, doesn't matter. You can use any technique, but that technique should lead into factors of enlightenment where the principle, where the master is factor for mindfulness, enlightenment factor for mindfulness. If that develops only, the rest of the six will develop. If these seven happens only, you will be able to go to the path. There is no other path. So therefore, we have something that is Buddha has given 2,600 years ago, and it is still available because places like this are still available. We have still a place where monks gather no matter where we go. No matter where Sri Lankan Buddhists go, they will somehow or other get hold of a monk and start a temple. That is because they have some sense that there is something still available. So therefore, we will have to be really grateful for the monks who have devoted, especially the Nayakathero and the other monks, who have devoted their lives to preserve these things. Because that has happened. Now we have the opportunity to listen to this, to hear these things. And if those things have not happened, where are we going? We don't know. So therefore, Buddha says this existence, this continuing existence is such a dangerous place. And once I remember Buddha was telling Venerable Ananda, showing a line of black ants, he says, there is not a single black ant on this line who has not been a wheel-turning monarch. I'm not going to explain what wheel-turning monarch is. Wheel-turning monarch is a person who rules the universe. And such powerful being, subsequently they have become a black ant. So when I heard that, I got goosebumps. Now we think we are human beings and we are that and we are this and we have this and we have that, and after death, where is the guarantee where we will go? And that day I seriously decided that we must take some serious action. If there is some path, walk on that and see where we go. And there is no doubt, if you keep the mindfulness to the fore, it is still achievable. It is still, we are still able to have this wonderful teaching. And you don't receive this teaching every day. It's a very rare chance. All of you know that blind tortoise story. When a blind tortoise comes up in the water and I don't know, a broken yoke with one hole is coming onto its right eye. And when it comes onto his the good eye, he is able to see the sky, and that day it was a full moon day. Just imagine a tortoise is coming after 100 years above the water. And when he comes, the yoke exactly to come to his good eye is a very rare probability. And even if that happens, for it to be a full moon day is almost impossible. So it is such rare thing that you are getting now. You may have practiced mindful, you may have done meditation, but I'm 100% sure all those meditations are directed to concentration. It's not over the fence. I'm giving a technique to go over the fence, right? So therefore, it's a very rare opportunity you have had, and you have been lucky for that. Therefore, the Blessed One says, he's putting such people into the three gems, Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. Those who practice this becomes part of Sangha. Part of Sangha means it is not this or this. It is the path that you take. If you are walking on the path to the first entry or the first stage of enlightenment, you are part of the Sangha. So all of you what you did today was that. So therefore you are part of Sangha. You are such gems in the world, in the universe. So may this be cut and polished well and be a very, very valuable gems into this society. Blessings of the triple gem. With that, I will be concluding my talk. Good. So with that, we have not taken long time. We have taken exactly almost 1 hour. So we can start a chat now. If you have any questions, if you have any report, this is a time for you to do that. And also, I would like to remind once again, if you have not taken any book, if you want a book, and I think a lot of books are gone already. And if you want to keep in touch, my cards are here. So you can take the card and keep in touch with us. And I have two online sessions on a weekly basis. So what I'm requesting you is to go home and practice on a daily basis. And you can join our Zoom sessions and produce a report once in a while. At least when you practice, it is very important to give a report, discuss your practice, otherwise you don't know where you are going. That is very important because, as I said in the morning, the last three defilements, the underlying tendencies, imperfections, and the tense are defilements that the practitioner himself will not be able to independently for himself see. And you must meet a teacher. And it is not my requirement. It is something that the Buddha has preached. Buddha has told Venerable Ananda. Venerable Ananda has said, this 50% of this enlightenment path is in the hand of the noble friend. Buddha has said, Na hevang Ananda, na hevang Ananda. Don't say that Ananda, don't say that Ananda. Buddha has said twice. He doesn't say usually things twice. There is another instance he has said like that, but I'm not going to take that here. He said 100% is with the noble friend. Why 100%? We are going from this known body to enlightenment, something called enlightenment, which we have never seen in any of the supermarkets. Never seen. So therefore, there should have somebody, holding his finger to behind to hold to anybody who is walking on the path. So therefore, this is why I'm encouraging people to practice and join our Zoom sessions and get your practice clarified. And that is why I'm having Zoom sessions on a weekly basis. Even when I'm doing this talk, it is on Zoom. People are joining, and I don't give them a chance to give reports today, possibly in this discussion. Unless you have anything, I'll be taking them. So they will be able to provide their report. Okay, so that is an advice to the practice. And if you want to join our group, you will be able to send me an email, or my number is there. You can send your numbers. I'll be able to add you to the group so that you will be part of the community. And also, I take this opportunity to introduce my good friend, Sarat Jayatunga, that bald-headed man at the back. He's the person who has put me in this trouble. I met him after 41 years. He was my roommate in the university. He was asking me to come here, but I did not have time. But this year, fortunately, Canada was not able to organize their full retreat. So I had 2 weeks. So I gave that to Sarat. Sarat said, Bante, come. We will do something, although nothing was organized. So this is an introductory session. So hereafter, I have told him very clearly, if I come, I can't be waiting for sessions. I will wait only maximum 2 days. I should have sessions going on continuous basis. So this is just one day. When I'm doing a retreat, I'm starting the retreat at 8 o'clock and goes till 5:36. So that we will have many practice sessions. And that will give you a good training of what we are supposed to do. And so therefore, next time if you are doing, it should be minimum 3 days. So I'm asking one working day from you. If you have that commitment, you are ready to walk on the path. And if you say, no, I have got to pay the bills, Ma Salama, you go and pay the bills. I need only 2 people to do the session. I will go ahead with those 2 people. Because that commitment has to be there from our side. Otherwise, whom are we working for? We never work for ourselves. We are working for the benefit of others. We are so much afraid of bills. Nothing will happen. Even if you take 1 whole month, nothing will happen. Yeah, I will have a few hiccups, but nothing will happen. What happens is we are so afraid. So therefore, next time, continuous 3 days. All right. Yes, so I have been still talking after the Deshana, after my talk. Any questions from the audience? Yes.
So I just want to get clarity. I can see how my mind is being a bit confused on the actual practice on the meditation. So I thought I heard this morning to not have a focus point, and then it appears then it's about having a whole focus point. Let's say my body, like just being fully present with the physical. So what actually is that what it is? So it is still a focal point, but always focusing on the body. Like I'm going for enlightenment. So what's like the root?
Yeah, so your confusion is whether you should have a focus point, or the whole body. Is that right?
Yeah. And is that even correct, or have I missed the point?
No, you have not missed the point. It looks like, how long have you been practicing?
I wouldn't even call it a practice because I find it really difficult to sit still.
No, my question was different. I didn't ask whether you will be able to sit still, but have you been doing something for some time?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it looks like that, because we start with we don't completely give away the focal point, the focus point. In the morning, what I said was, have your attention to the sole of the feet, right? And then when I say that, I'm using a focus point, I'm using a focal point, right? But don't cling on to that. Don't start living in the scaffolding. If your attention goes to the rest of the body, let it be so, and observe that. So you're not missing the point, but the mind is trying to confuse you. Mind wants to have the focal point all the time, cling on to that, without allowing the mind to go to the body. Buddha says in Four Foundations of Mindfulness, in the breathing technique, you may have heard, when the attention comes to the body, it comes to a point that you start feeling the whole body. Right? So when you start feeling the whole body, your attention has completely come to the body, not just one point in the body. You are bringing your attention to the sole of the feet just to challenge the existing mentality. So once it comes to the sole of the feet or to the breath, then gradually you start feeling the whole body. So that's an advancement of the practice. So you don't miss the point, and it will go even beyond that. It will come to a point that you will completely not feel the body as well. That's again even going further. So this is why the discussion is important. So the practice is going well, and when the practice goes in that manner, confidence should be provided. Otherwise, your teacher will be your mind, which is having preference and prejudices. Make sense? All right. You can ask questions either Sinhala or English, I don't mind.
I have a couple of questions.
Yeah, you take the mic. Otherwise, you can't ask questions.
Just before the questions, I just want to say much for you, because I learned today new thing, that is mindfulness also impermanent. That is very very deep statement. I got to whether I want to research about this statement. Is it on the right time? My first question is regard to the mindful walking. The one thing I do with this mindful walking like this. So I'll say just say you manage or label it. So now, suppose now I'm raising up this, lifting up my leg, left and leg, and moving and replacing the space and touching the entire space. So then, my journey is stopping because some knowledge. Knowledge in the sense, when I get the key learning points of the, Dhamma Sutta. So whatever element or earth element or my internet element are both are same.
Yes.
So I don't do that thing. Right? In that Dhamma Sutta. So my journey is stopping and breathing and that's the obstacle. So
It's not an obstacle. It is something that you observe. The mind is telling it's an obstacle.
But you're always telling that keep going, keep going. So I can't go beyond that because I'm thinking about the Dhamma.
Yeah.
When I come to know that what it is sitting, mindful sitting. So breathe in, breathe out, then there are two observations. One is later on, I feel that my head is going to be blasted to pieces. So there are a lot of obsession, many. You just want to save my time and your time and audience time. I think these two things. One is there's one obsession. The second obsession is about okay now. No, when I breathe in, out, it's just like I feel like what is it like breathing out from my birth. I'm doing this one until my day. So what is it like? At that point, I feel suicide is better than living.
Yeah. Okay. No, it's anything else?
There are many things, but that's all. Thank you for
Yeah.
that.
No, we will take the other things if you don't have, if the audience is not having any other questions. No, I mean, these observations, the first one is something that is happening naturally. So when you keep walking and when your attention comes directly to the body, what happens is our mind will bring knowledge forward. So this is what Buddha says is this is an imperfection, which we call upaklesha. It comes and tries to, or it can be underlying tendency as well and anusaya as well. What it does is it brings the knowledge before the experience. You are experiencing the earth element while walking. As soon as you observe that, all what you have learned start flooding in and giving you a sermon. And you give the sermon and you forget the walking. Doesn't matter. So long as you are aware of this thing. And let it happen, because this is the nature. This is how the defilements are coming out. Unless this happens, number one, you don't know that underlying tendency is working like this. And unless this happens, I won't be able to show it as a defilement. So therefore, this must happen. So it is happening and you are reporting it because you have the mindfulness to the fore. You are caught in that, doesn't matter. So the next time, let it happen. You simply keep observing. If you keep observing, it will not stay even at pains level. Knowledge will come and give you a big sermon. You have a laugh and listen to your own sermon. You know the mind is doing this to you and you observe that. Then the mind loses its strength even further. Does it make sense? Yeah. So therefore, this happens when you listen to talks. This happens when you read a lot of books. This happens when you are very educated. When you're educated, our thinking pattern completely changes. And especially after 25, 30 years. And we get conditioned by those things. So all those conditioning should come out. This is how the conditionings are coming out. So that is the path Buddha is opening up. So there is nothing wrong. You have observed it. So let it happen. Be prepared for it. Stopping walking is fine. Just keep observing. Have a smile and keep observing. So then you will be able to cross the fence. And the other one, that your head is going to pieces. There is absolutely nothing wrong in that. When you lose the notion of self, right? So we are holding these things because we consider that there is a person called me here, physically, in feelings, in perceptions, in mental volitions, in consciousness, there is me here. So long as that me self notion is at work, then this will be very tight. So when those negativities are being removed, then this is going into pieces, right? So let it happen. And if you are doing something for you to get there now, just do the very same thing. Keep doing it. So for that, what is important is I have blasted him. I met him about 4 years ago, and he joined my sessions in Zoom. And I asked him to continue his practice because he was giving quite a bit of reports and good reports. This fellow has not practiced. And then when I was staying with him in the last couple of weeks, I asked him, are you really practicing? Then he started practicing. And so it is very important to have the practice on a daily basis. If you have the practice on a daily basis, no matter what you do, no matter what status and what sort of a job you are doing, it will start picking up. So don't stop, just keep doing it. And it is going in the right way. And the other comment was also normal. So only Buddha found this out. What was the other comment he made? There is no point living. So when you keep on when the practice is going on, what if we depreciate the self notion? Might as well commit suicide. One might feel. Buddha said that is also craving for destruction. He said vibhavatanha. Not a single other teacher was able to find that out. They did not go even the craving for sensuality. They were bogged down in the craving for becoming. Buddha said, if you go beyond becoming, you will start craving for non-becoming. You can't get hooked there either. So therefore, that is also natural. Your way of thinking will completely change. Buddha says, attiyati harayati digucchati. You will try to move away from this because all what you see is impermanence. There is no board, but you have some experience. What the heck? The breathing is happening, breathing is in and out is happening. Is this what I have got to do? Right? So your complete way of thinking will change. So I'm not sure whether these young people will ordain tomorrow. Don't ordain tomorrow, okay? By listening to these things. But it is very good you hear these things now because this is the reality. And especially in this type of world, you have everything at the fingertip. Everything at the fingertip. But there is some unsatisfactoriness going within us. So the world is not having solutions for it. So Buddha says, enjoy these things available at the fingertip, but don't get bogged down in it. Don't get caught up by them. And your happiness is somewhere else. And that is what we are going towards by keeping the mindfulness to the fore. For Sarath's answer, a question that is natural, observe that as well. When that comes, this is why keeping the mindfulness to the fore is important. These type of things are coming. So when these things are coming, if you are not keeping the mindfulness to the fore, then you will do what the mind is telling. And usually you will not remember to keep the mindfulness to the fore. Teacher will have to remind that. For the teacher to remind, you should be in contact with the teacher. So this is why Buddha says, discussion, supportive factor is imperative. Hope it makes sense. Teruvan Sarana. Any other questions?
Bhante, if I may, so we are so grateful for your presence here and for the opportunity today, and forgive us for our ignorance as well. So my question is, it's about the thing that you mentioned about observe without being involved. Well, I understand the concept of it and I understand the importance of it. but in practical terms, when you try and do that, there's this natural tendency for us to alter things as we observe things. Say, for example, the scientific world, we know that as the Hawthorne effect anyway. But the moment that we try and observe, say, for example, our breathing, it gets affected. And it is very hard to observe something without altering what is being observed. So is that okay? Or is that, should we try and avoid that?
Yeah, no, good observation. So we have learned in the morning that we should not choose. We should not alter things and simply observe. Now you're doing that. When you're doing that, you yourself see now how the mind is trying to alter things. So is it a question or is it an answer? Now,
I really don't know.
now you are seeing how the mind is working. We have been doing this ever since we have gone in the samsara. What sanskara or what choosing means, the Blessed One says in one of the discourses, sankatang abhisankaroti is the definition of sankara. Sankatang sankatang means the things that is made of made from the conditioning, cause and effect relationship. And what we do is while living, we just keep changing that all the time. All the time we keep changing. And we call it development. We call it progress. Right? Now, when we are doing it, we don't know. But when we stop and observe, we say we are doing that. So this is what the Buddha said. So this is why we say it's an experience. You yourself can see. Now it is not Buddha's knowledge. It is your knowledge. So let the mind alter things or you alter things. Observe that. Don't avoid it. Buddha says, knowing the mistake is more important than the correcting of it. Because when you know the mistake, you know the problem. That is what Einstein said as well. Don't look for the answer. Understand the problem. That's the empowerment that the Buddha has done. Now, when you understand the question, you will have to just draw 2 lines in red. That becomes the answer. So the present day, they're looking for solutions without understanding the problem. Right? So it's on the right track. And the mind is tricking you in this way. So that is why we should have the discussion. So these are the underlying tendencies. You don't see that this has a defilement. If it's a lust or if it's hatred, it's very clear cut. You know that what it is. But when these things are happening, we can't understand that it is defilement. Good.
In the meditation, walking meditation, as we did, I thought I did all right. I could feel the heel going down and all that. I could. Yeah, I think I'm saying this because I'm saying I did it because I could concentrate, which you said it shouldn't be the concentration which we are used to it. But however, when I do the sitting meditation, yeah, you guided us to start with scanning the body and like that. And then I think after that I was observing the breath and all that. And then thoughts come, I mean, some weird thoughts started to come in the head, and again it came to the mind. It came back to the breath, and I was feeling, oh, where the hell it went, and now it's come back. A few of few of the times it happened. So I felt like I wasn't doing better meditation sitting. I would like to.
Have my feedback.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Right. Yeah. First thing, and this is a report that is being given. So there is a way how a report should be given, which I have not mentioned earlier. So I will just tell you, because in future, if you are providing a report, you will have to. It is easier for us to understand. So as you mentioned here, you will have to first mention whether you are talking about the mindful walking or mindful sitting, so which you have done here. And then what you will have to do is you will have to tell where you are focusing, right? Whether you are focusing the sole of the feet or somewhere else in the walking. And in sitting, whether you are focusing on the breath, if you are focusing on the breath, whether you are focusing on the nostril or the chest or the tummy, wherever, doesn't matter. Whatever the main focal point where you bring your attention to. And then you should say whether you were able to do that. If you are able to do that, what sort of observations you made? If you weren't able to do it, why? Whether it's a sound or whether it's thoughts, whatever. And even here you have mentioned that a bit. And then what you did with that, how you observed that. So in that manner, in the report, you will have to give the observations as much as possible, right? So since this is sort of the first report, in walking, what you said is you felt that walking is all right. So the mind is trying to put everything under the carpet, and mind is trying to make you make a judgment of your own practice instead of giving the observations. If you give the individual observation, then you are appreciating the fact that you have been observing the moment. That appreciation of observing the moment is a direct challenge to the mind. So therefore, mind covers that up, just saying, my practice was all right. We don't see that these things are having defilements. Right? So therefore, if we can give more details, no matter, and you slightly mentioned as well, but if we can give more details, it is very good, and it is not just for you, for everybody, especially those who did not talk. And the other thing is, in sitting, you are saying your attention is on the breath, and attention is going for weird thoughts, and then it comes back to breath, and it's going to thoughts again. So there are a few things here. Number one, mind is trying to compare these two and trying to give more credit to walking and less credit to sitting. Because in walking, you said the concentration has been there. You know that it is not what we are after, but mind is still trying its luck to generate craving towards concentration. Such a crafty, nasty fellow our mind is. We know, but it doesn't have any shame. It doesn't have any shame, knowingly saying, oh, say, concentration. If he says concentration is good, then you will uphold that. So therefore, because of that mentality or the mental process, you are saying walking is good and sitting is bad. This is also very good, because now you know how our mind works, right? So unless this comes in your report, you don't know how our mind works, right? So that's one thing. And the other thing is, for me, mindfulness is better in walking or sitting. Awareness is better in walking or sitting.
I think sitting.
In sitting, awareness is better because you have been in the moment. You know when you are with the breath. You know when you are not in the breath. And you know the fact that it has happened many times. So the attention has not, the observation has not stopped. Object has changed. Right? Mind doesn't like that. Mind doesn't like observation. Mind likes, clinging onto things, grasping things. Right? So then I self-notion can be built, right? So therefore, the mindfulness has happened well in sitting. And it is also better if you say, I was observing the breath, if you can give some details of the breath, where you observed it and how you felt it initially, and over time, what happens to the breath, at what stage thoughts start coming. So these things are, when you give those things, there is no value in it. But the teacher will be able to understand whether he is perpetuating mindfulness or not. Satya is turning into sampajanya. Right. So this is why in my talk, I try to bring mindfulness and clear comprehension, the full awareness. These are the two key things in the practice. If these two key things are coming into the picture, then you will go forward. Right. So that will not happen straight away. We will have to practice and keep talking. Then gradually it will come up. And the other thing that I see in sitting is character. Now, when we practice, our personal traits are coming into the picture. Some people are being disturbed by sound. Some people are disturbed by the pain. Some people are disturbed by the thought. That is our personal character, personal trait. So when you know that, you can be prepared. Okay, let it come. I'm ready to observe. Right? So it looks like on your mark. So you get set and go. Blessings.
Over being one thing. One more.
Yeah.
Even this is something that I'm guilty of as well. Even our Arya Dhamma Swaminatha is trying to do this similar, trying to get us reports of this similar nature, but I haven't been doing that because it's difficult for us, for me, to remember all these things. How do I mean? Even sometimes when I try to do it, when in the meditation also, think, oh, I have to remember something to do to tell the Bhante and all that. Those kind of things also come when we are doing the practices.
Yeah.
And then when I'm trying to tell him, I forget things. I even now also I have been feeling the back and I've been feeling the legs and all that. I don't seem to tell everything. It's something that's not been that I haven't been able to get, and also it's a reason that I haven't
given a
produced
report.
a report to him as well. He's been waiting for reports for us from us as well.
Yeah.
So what are the things that we can do?
No, you should now. You have given a report here, so you should give whatever you remember, whatever you think. The teacher will be able to gradually refine it. So now from this report, I said it is better, instead of saying, all right, give some details of walking. Instead of saying I had my attention to the breath, give some information of the breath. So unless you tell whatever you have in your mind, because our mind will say, oh, you don't have anything. You have observed. But mind will say, no, you don't have anything to report. So you will have, because mind is trying to hide, we will have to get used to getting them disclosed. And that will start giving whatever you have. Otherwise, it will not start.
Okay.
Okay.
This is my last question.
Okay.
I apologize for that one. Okay.
Just give me a
This is a
second.
kind of
Give me a second. The mic will come.
This is a kind of complaint, but totally the kind request. Hey, you are always encouraging us mindful sitting and mindful walking. One thing I know that mindful sitting is paramount to the enlightenment, and also I heard that walking, mindful walking, because of mindful walking, Patachara they become enlightenment. I heard, I know, I admire that. The problem is one day now, as we are practically, we don't have time. I'm a business person, so I'm struggling to find the time. So, but you always encourage this two pattern. But the thing is, you are not encouraging the application method. I love this application method. When I work, when I working, when I do something. So I understood that. I realized that last few days. If you complain, you didn't say anything about the application method. Can you give us a small technique about to practice application method?
What do you mean by application method?
That is called in Pali, we say Iriyapata Bhavana.
Iriyapata. Okay. Okay. And it is, let me put it this way. What I am saying is in teaching is keep the mindfulness to the fore. Have you heard that from me?
Yes.
Parimukam sati.
Yes.
So what does that mean? To be observant or keep the observation all the time. When do you keep the observation all the time? Whenever you do anything. And it says Khayam Panida. Keep the mind, body as your focal point, reporting point, and keep observing your body all the time. So therefore, and now my mind is asking this question because mind is trying to tell you that 4 foundations of mindfulness is something that should be done. 4 foundations of mindfulness is not something that should be done. It is something that happens. The Buddha using the word pajanati, 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 pajanati right throughout mindfulness, 4 foundations of mindfulness. So just be aware, right? So there is nothing to teach once you have heard keeping the mindfulness to the fore. So this is again a trick of the mind. Your practice is going in the right direction. So it is trying to bring one or the other complaint, one or the other unhappiness. That is because you are trying to tick boxes. You have gone beyond Iriyapata. Mind is trying to, take something at the lower level and making a commotion out of it. It's gone much further than that, right? So therefore, don't worry about those things. If you keep the mindfulness to the fore, those things will naturally happen. Teruvan Saranai. Anything else? No more questions? Yeah.
Just for clarity on that word, what is it? What's that? What's the word that you say? Mindfulness to the
Fore.
full.
To keep, no. F-O-R-E. O-R-E.
O-R-E. Okay, so like the forefront.
Yeah. Keeping it in the driving seat. Yeah. So your mindfulness will be driving. Mindfulness is in the driving seat. So you become aware of anything that happens.
So you mean awareness is in the driver's seat?
Sorry, ma'am, I just wanted to ask that I have noticed that not particularly today, but on other days when I meditate, that just like another inner voice that comes forward that almost like tells me what to do, like don't do it, don't look at it, just keep on going. So what is that inner?
Is that the voice that is coming or many other things come?
No, it's just that voice. It's almost like instructs me.
To keep going.
Yeah, exactly.
That's good. So if that is happening, just be aware that it is happening and just keep going. It is asking you to keep going. And so don't get a victim to that as well. Don't depend on that as well. Because what happens is when your physical and verbal activities are kept at bay, mental volitions are taking its place. Then only you will be able to see mental volitions. So you will have thousands and thousands of other suggestions coming. And those suggestions are not coming in your case when you say like this.
Yeah.
What it simply tells you is just keep going, just keep going.
Yeah.
It is very helpful. It is very helpful to avoid the other things that are coming here. It is something that you can't do it purposely. It will naturally happen. And now be aware that this is happening as well, so that you will not become victim to it. You will not become, you will not be reliant on it. If you become reliant on it, you will not have physical volitions. You will not have verbal volitions, but you will depend on mental volitions for the practice. So when we, at some point, we go beyond even mental volitions. So therefore, just be aware of that this is happening. Right? We call it Sankarupeka. Right? To go to Sankarupeka, we should see now this is the Sankara that is happening now is not physical, not verbal. It is mental. Right? And it's at the border of both physical, so both verbal and mental, because it's an inner chatter. So it has some element of verbalization as well. Doesn't matter. Knowing is very good. You just keep observing it so that it loses its, monitoring, guiding ability. Significance will reduce.
Because I especially noticed that when my sister died a few months ago, because she died very quickly, suddenly, and it was like complete shock for me. And then my whole body started to shiver and shake without control. And then something inside my head, it was almost like spoke to me and said that now close your eyes and meditate. So I did exactly that, and I was able to calm myself.
It's not, I mean, you can label it as calming. And what happens is when in an instance like that, right, what happens is we completely get disconnected from the outside world. When you get disconnected from the outside world, the consciousness have no place to go. Otherwise, consciousness is outside only. Right now, it directly comes to the body. When it directly comes to the body, you start seeing how this body works. This body is always shivering. Whether we see it or not, it is shivering. The what you call regeneration and degeneration process is taking place. So when you all of a sudden see that, you become shocked. And I'm very sorry, excuse the doctors here. When you go and tell this to a doctor, they will give a pill. Buddha says is you will get there when you practice. If your attention comes to the body, you keep observing that. Now you are seeing the reality. So when you see the reality, unfortunately, you have had that background, possibly from the practice of from hearing things, and then you have observed it. So therefore, it has not done any harm. Right. So for some people, because of these things, they develop unnecessary anxiety. It is not anxiety. It is the nature. And if you get closer and closer and closer, try to observe that, see more details of that, so that you will be able to go deep into it. Good.
And the other thing, sorry, so is it all right if I keep on?
Yeah. Yes.
That sometimes when I meditate, not today, but normally I see like flashes of sights, and they would just last for a couple of seconds and then they go away. What are they, or do I just try to find them again, or do I just ignore them?
No. What do we develop? What do we develop rather? Sorry.
Mindfulness, awareness.
Awareness. So if it comes, you become aware of it. If it exists, you become aware of it. If it vanishes, you become aware of it. Don't try to avoid, don't look for it. Sometimes these things are so attractive, you may try to look for it. Right? And some people think that it is enlightenment. And when teachers say don't give much significance to it. They think, oh, teacher may not have come there. So therefore, I should go and find another teacher. And, all sorts of things, because that is so attractive. The Blessed One says, Nikanti. You get attracted like a magnetic, it has a magnetic force. That is also an upaklesha, an imperfection in Patisambhida Magga. It is not shown, I haven't seen that in discourses, but in Patisambhida Magga, they call it obasa. Obasa is an imperfection. But it comes and you should be aware of. That's all.
What are they? Are they just memories?
There are many ways you can, asking what are they means, you are going beyond observation. Yeah, and since you asked the question, one thing is we are filled with so much of defilements. When our defilements gradually start fading away, Buddha says, Prabhasara midam bhikkhave chitta. You will be able to see this Prabhasara nature. When did that happen? Just in a flash. It's like in one of the Jataka tales, Sedivanita Jataka. You remember that golden pot, which is filled with so much of dirt. And what Buddha Tubi did was, he just took a needle and drew one line. With that, it started gold glitter was coming. So like that, now we have just scratched the surface. With that, you see the brightness of the mind. But so much of defilement still there. But that comes up for the mind to create craving towards that. Then the practice stops. That's one reason. The other thing is, when you take your attention to the body, our signal system is based on electromagnetic fields. Right? So you may be able to perceive that. You may be able to observe that. So those flashes also may come. Right? So you go into your nervous system and see, you exactly don't know, because of this, but those flashes will appear. Right? So for many reasons, those things will appear, but don't worry what the reason is. Whatever that is there, I am aware.
Yeah, I also have, this is something that I wasn't going to ask, but when we are meditating, we keep our eyes closed and we see these colorful areas, and it's not the eye that we are seeing those. And sometimes we can hear music that we have heard before, the song and all that, and there's no
Music is going on.
music going on. What's happening at those?
No, what happens is, it is related to your report as well. You said thoughts are coming up. So when the mind is concentrated, some people, when the attention comes to the body, they go to pain. So some people, they bypass pain and they go directly to the mental process. So in the mental process, we have a lot of perceptions, sanya, that have been developed through the eye, ear, nose, and from our faculties. So those things, the stock that has been there is gradually coming up. So you'll have to let them come up and just keep observing. So they will come up and just vanish because you don't do anything. Then whatever that is underneath will come up. So you let anything come up, you just keep observing. Then they will come and pass away, come and pass away, come and pass away. And it goes to a deeper layers of defilement. So the defilements that you are talking about are called pariyuttana, in other words, obsessional defilement. So when that is over, then it will go to the underlying tendency.
Oh, please.
Are you tired? Or any other question?
Ask one more question.
Yes.
That's all right. So in the meditation before, in the sitting down one, I became very aware of this pain that started coming. Not even a normal amount of stiffness, solidness. All of a sudden, it's like my body was just like, and my mind was like, right, this is enough. It got really like, oh, I'm aware that it's my mind doing whatever it's doing, and and the body, but it felt really intense. So I thought I'm ready to come out of this. Just obviously again being aware of that thought. But what do you do in those moments, or is it just simply I'm just aware of the pain and the chatter, them not even being, I suppose, any different. But it got very solid
Yeah.
and dense.
Yeah. Who is in the driving seat?
Awareness.
Yes. That's all what you will have to do. Because why it happens is when the attention comes to the body, if the body is healthy, the body is, we are going into the fundamentals of the body, fundamentals of the physics, which is earth element, air element, water elements, and things like that. So for some of the aspects, some of the characteristics of these elements, we like. Some others we don't like. So when the things that we like is happening, we say the meditation is so nice, Pante. It's going so perfect, so well. But when the things that you dislike appears, then it becomes unpleasant, and the mind is trying to complain about it. So this is something that we will have to go through now, right? And the previous one is also something that you will have to go through. When you have craving, rather than saying that my practice is going well, you will have to observe that you are in pleasant sensation. But here you are in unpleasant sensation. You will have to keep on accepting that, keep on accepting that, keep on accepting that. So when you keep on accepting that, now the mental input to the physical nature gradually gets faded away. Does it make sense? This unpleasantness comes because there is a mental input to the physical nature, right? This stiff nature is there, and the mind hates it. Therefore, it becomes unpleasant, right? So if you don't make that physical input, then it won't be unpleasant. So how you make it, how you avoid having the physical input is observing what is there now. So then you don't react. Then you don't hate that situation. The attitude starts changing. So this is what we call change in the attitude. So when that attitude change, the nature of the body will remain as it is, but your input will gradually fade away. And it comes to a point, as you said, enough, no more meditation. Because as Sarath said earlier, you may feel that you are going to explode. And also, it is not happening just once. These are happening in cycles. How many cycles? Nobody knows. It depends on what a stock of hatred we have within us. Sometimes. So if to get rid of that stock, what we will have to do is happily keep observing. So if you keep observing this unpleasant nature, it becomes a blessing in disguise. Silver lining in a dark cloud. So this is a very good teaching of the Buddha. If you don't like it, then you will continue samsara, you will keep reacting. Right? If you keep observing, that turns into wisdom. Right? So therefore, this is a very crucial point, whether you continue the samsara or continue the wisdom. Right? So they call it tanha paccha, vedana paccha tanha or vedana paccha panya. Because of feeling, you can either have wisdom or you can have craving. So if you dislike it, you have craving. we don't dislike, keep observing, then you are loving yourself. If this is happening to you, so if you don't observe it, nobody else is who is going to observe. So there is no other people hating us than we hate ourselves. So that mentality is getting changed. So for that, unpleasant feeling must come up. And it's a real blessing. Right? So, and that ability is having only in the human mind. But energy is not allowing us to do that. They will ask you to take a pill and kill the pain. Buddha has a much smarter technique. Observe it. And I know so many people who have gone through chronic pains. And recently, one of the doctors in Australia, who is one of the followers, he was having a chronic pain and he was observing that while doing his practice. And he said at the end of the report, Bante, I was feeling ashamed of my own profession. Because after observing, that has gone. A pain that has been there for such a long time. But in the profession, you can't do it. There are guidelines. You will have to definitely give a pill. Otherwise, you will be sued. Right? So we can't do it for other people. But you can do it for yourself. Pain is there. Yes, I am observing. It is none of your business. Then we are going towards Buddha. We are going towards wisdom. Ready? Good. Everyone, Saturday. Okay. So, what's the time? 4:35? Yes. Any other comments, questions, complaints, compliments? All right. So if nothing is there, we will be able to conclude the session. So as I mentioned earlier, it is very important for you to practice at home. Even if you don't have 1 hour walking, 1 hour sitting, take whatever time available. Maybe 15 minutes walking, 15 minutes is enough to start with. I started with 5 minutes. Do it on a daily basis. So definitely a big change will happen. Right? And keep in touch and keep discussing your practice with a person who is practicing mindfulness, then definitely things will be more and more clarified. Right? So with
you told about some sessions.
yes.
What time are they? What days and what time?
Usually it's on the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Usually Saturday we are starting the practice session at 1 p.m. Sri Lanka time. You will have to do the maths to find out time here. I think it is conducive to UK. And talk starts at 3 o'clock. That's the usual thing. But if I'm traveling, those timings may change. So today I have changed for them because I will not fit it for your timetable. Right. So, but 90% of the time it is 1 p.m. Sri Lanka time. And to know those things, to get the details, what I would request is I can put you into the WhatsApp group. So if you want to put yourself into the WhatsApp group, you have taken my card, send me a message to any one of the numbers there. Then we will be able to add you to the group so that you will receive all the communications. Then you know what's going on. Thank you very much for asking that. All right, so we can conclude the session. To conclude the session, can I kindly request anyone of the organization committee? Himali, I don't know your name, Martha. Kaushalya, and
Nishani.
Nishani, and you? Dulipa. Mic is to you if you want to say a few words and conclude.
Say thank you to Himali.
Yes, this is Himali.
Hi, Himali. And I must say thank you so much to Himali to such a beautiful event. There are more than, I think, maybe more than 20. Yeah. plenty devotees. So I'm very happy. Even one person is here become Tura Sotapan or Sotapan, that is my happiness. So, I was not involved in this event. Actually, Himari and I must say really thankful to Himari. She has organized everything. And also, Namaste to Robuk Swami answer and other all Nilsu. Actually, they gave tremendous opportunities and also treatment, everything when I visit when we visit the very first time. So I'm very happy. I told my all other kind of Dhammas, so we are having good opportunity from the Manchester and community, and all. This is a good opportunity to organize a new event in the next year. As you advise us, we try our best to do this in the future. So I know that we do apologize. There are a lot of mistake and uh, uh, difficulties. I do apologize for behalf of the kind of judgment. So I'm far away, and also this is not a this is a very new experience for me. This is the first time in my lifetime was able to organize such a thing, and so I feel kind of in Newcastle and the very places helped me, and also especially our Himani. So I was not here for a few days, but she has organized everything. Thank you so much.
He has done very well.
And also, yeah, thank you very much, Mary, for all the participants. So it's very happy to see you. This is as one person told us one day, Buddha is not living in the Buddha. Buddha, as far as I can say, Buddha is not living in the Meethirigala. Buddha is living in our heart, living in my goal in my city.
Everyone, sorry.
On behalf of, yeah, as everybody said, thank you so much for coming and staying with us, especially we had the session with our Sunday school last Sunday. It was so successful. And all the parents and children gave a good feedback because especially it was conducted in English medium. So it's a starting point for our children to think about what is mindfulness. And even I'm teaching the Sunday school, I also learned, and I brought my son as well today. So again, thank you so much on behalf of our committee, Sunday school, and everybody. And we looking forward to have sessions in the future as well. So,
Everyone, sorry. Okay, so I will have to also thank especially Nayaka Kero, because ever since I came here, I didn't know anything about the temple, anything about Nayaka Kero. But to see his main temple has been just on the other side of the river in my village in Sri Lanka. So it's just a matter of crossing the river to go to the temple, and he is a good friend of my village chief monk. So it was really unexpected coincidence. So he was looking after me each and every time for each and everything, giving preference to me, and even without considering his comfort. So I was at home in Ketumati. So much merit for Nayaka Kero and even the other monks. And they all are very much senior than me. But I was really embarrassed. They were doing things for me. Then I was saying, okay, so, but I was really embarrassed. They were looking after me. They were not showing any seniority. They were so humble. And that really shows the existence and the practicing Dhamma in this noble place. And thank you all to dedicating your time, money, and energy in looking after monks and in looking after these type of places without expecting anything. And that is the reason why you receive this Dhamma, this pristine Dhamma in this manner. Though there are so many places, they don't get an opportunity, possibly because they are not ready. So when the conditions are there, those things happen naturally. So I can see the feedback also very good. So hope we will be able to do it in a better way next time. And thank you very much for participating and having places having monks, having a teacher does not make any sense if there is no audience. So you people only have perpetuated this samsara. So having an audience, so don't underestimate what you are doing today. It is, you may think that is for your liberation. It is not for your liberation. It is for the continuation of the practice, continuation of Dhamma. So you have done a wonderful job in that regard, especially the young children, young adults. Can't say children, I'm very sorry. Young adults, right? They don't like being called children anymore. Participation, because you guys should hear this, because this you may not have done it in the best possible way, but few things have definitely gone into your head, right? So those will start fruitioning in the future. When you become fathers, when you become mothers, you will have now another alternative to live, right? So thank you very much for that. So with that, we will be able to pass blessings and share the merits, meritorious deeds, positive energies we have gathered today. To do that, we will chant the traditional stanzas. Ettavatacha, ettavatacha ammehi sampadam punya sampadam sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ettavatacha ammehi sampadam punya sampadam sabbe bhutan dantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ettavatacha ammehi sampadam punya sampadam sabbe sattanumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Akasatta ca bhummatta devanaga mahivika punyantang anumoditva chiran rakkantu buddha sasana. Akasatta ca bhummatta devanaga mahivika punyantang anumoditva chiran rakkantu buddha desana. Akasatta ca bhummatta devanaga mahivika punyantang anumoditva chiran rakhantu buddha savakam. Idang mo nyati nang hotu. Idang mo nyati nang hotu. Idang mo nyati nang hotu. Prarthana gatava. Imina punya kammena mame pada samaga. Satang samagamo hotu imina punya kammena mame satang samagamo hotu imina punya kammena satang samagamo hotu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
දැන් කවුසාරු කාර්යයක් පවත්වන වෙන. අද දවස පුරාවටම වැඩසටහන මේ වටේ දුණු බ්‍රිස්බේන් ධම්මරක්කිත හාමුදුරන් වහන්සේට නායක හාමුදුරුවන්ගේ දායක මහතුරු වෙනුවෙන් පාස්තාවනේ අපි ස්තුතිවන්ත වෙනවා පුණ්‍යානුමෝදනා කරනවා උන්වහන්සේ බොහොම ගෞරවයෙන් යුක්තව පැහැදිලි අවබෝධයකින් යුක්තව මේ දේවල් අප වෙනුවෙන් කරුණාවෙන් මෛත්‍රියෙන් යුක්තව ඒ වැඩසටහන් මේ විදිහට සිද්ධ කරගෙන යනවා. උන්වහන්සේ තේරුම් ගත්ත දේ අප වෙනුවෙන් කියා දෙමින් ඒකට මහන්සිය උත්සාහය නායක හාමුදුරුවෝ ගොඩක් අගය කරනවා. ඒ පිළිබඳව කතා කරනවා. ඉතින් උන්වහන්සේ විශේෂයෙන් ස්තුතිවන්ත වෙන්න කිව්වා. උන්වහන්සේ අද මේ දවස් පුරාවට වෙච්ච නේද කල්යාණ මිත්‍රත්වයෙන් යුක්තව මේ කරපු කටයුත්ත පිළිබඳව. ඒක නිසා අපි උන්වහන්සේට තුන්වන්ගේ ආශිර්වාදයෙන් දෙවියන්ගේ දේව ආශිර්වාදයෙන් සිල් බුද්ධ පූජනීය වස්තුන්ගේ ආශිර්වාදයෙන් උන්වහන්සේ කරගෙන යන මේ ආගමික සාංස්කෘතික කටයුතු තව තවත් සිද්ධ කරගන්නට සිදු කරන්නට අපි කෙරෙහි කරුණාවෙන් මෛත්‍රියෙන් කල්යාණ මිත්‍රත්වයෙන් යුක්තව කටයුතු කරන්නට උන්වහන්සේට නිදුක් භව වේවා නිරෝගී භව වේවා චිරජීවනයේ සැලසේවා. උන්වහන්සේ පතන බෝධියකින් නිවන් දකින්නට අපේ ජීවිත කාලය පුරාවට සිද්ධ කරගත්තු සියලු පින්කම් වල බලය උන්වහන්සේට පාරමිතාවක්ම වේවා සාදු කියලා ප්‍රාර්ථනා කරන්න. එනම් වන්දනා කරගන්න හැමදෙනාම අභිවාදන සීලිස්ස නිච්ඡං වත්තා පචායිනෝ චත්තාරෝ ධම්මා වඩ්ඩන්ති ආයුවන්නෝ සුඛං බලං ආයුරාෝග්‍ය සම්පatti සග්ග සම්පatti මේවච යතෝ නිබ්බාන සම්පatti මිනාතේ සමිච්ඡතු සුඛති.
සීලවන්තා පුනවන්තා යක්ඛවන්තරා දුල්ලභේන මයං බුද්ධං
නිබ්බාන පච්චය නිබ්බාන පච්චය නිබ්බාන පච්චය. හොඳයි එහෙනම් පෙරවන් සරණයි රැඳී සිටියට පුණ්‍ය අනුමෝදනා වේවා.